Boo. Sorry, I couldn't resist. Did I scare you? I apologize. I just had to. Come on, everybody's entitled to a good scare. It's all in fun. This is a horror-related channel, so, you know, gotta put some scary stuff in there somewhere, you know, right? Anyway, welcome to the Midnight Spook Show here on the Horror and Metal channel. I'm your host, Hellhound, and I really am sorry if I scared you, but I hope it was fun anyway. Anyway, this is Kweeny Todd's Werewolf tag. I was tagged by Sean Urshan, who check out his channel if you haven't already. Check out his original video. Check out Kweeny Todd's original video. She did a good job. Check out her channel. Subscribe, all that good stuff. So recently we've had a zombie tag, a vampire tag, and now a werewolf tag. So that's pretty good. Everything's coming full circle. So anyway, before we get started, I should mention that once again, Sean Urshan had a lot of the same answers as I did. He almost said everything word for word verbatim the way I was going to say it. In fact, when I was watching his video and I was thinking about my answers, I was like, oh, I got to make sure to mention this in my video. And then he said like the exact same thing I was thinking. I was like, wow, took the words right out of my mouth. Great minds think alike, but, you know, what can you do? Anyway, let's go and get started. Question number 1. What is your favorite werewolf film and why? Well, I think everybody agrees that the two best ones are The Howling and American Werewolf in London. I mean, those are easily the two best werewolf movies ever made. Nothing's ever come close, probably never will. It's always been between those two with me, anyway. And for years, I said The Howling was my favorite. That was my favorite for years. That was my favorite werewolf film, with American Werewolf in London a close second. But these days, I think I prefer American Werewolf in London a little more. Again, they're so different, you know, they're totally different movies. They both have the best werewolf transformation effects you'll ever see. I can't stress that enough. It's already been said a million times before, and I'll say it again. Those effects are amazing. It looks like somebody actually caught somebody changing to a lycanthrope on film. And all the crappy CGI these days looks like crap in comparison. It's pretty sad when a movie from 1981 looks more real than a movie from 2018. Just gotta say, you know, like Underworld and Van Helsing, the werewolf transformations were laughable compared to The Howling in American Werewolf in London, where they looked incredible. Yeah, the effects, I can't praise the effects enough. But anyway, yeah, I think I prefer American Werewolf in London a little more. I love the humor. It was one of like the first movies I ever saw that had blended humor and horror perfectly. It had a really good comic relief. I love the werewolf transformation effects. I love the characters. I love David, played by David Naughton, the main character. I love his best friend Jack, played by Griffin Dunn, who's killed early on but reappears as a ghost throughout the movie. He gets more and more decomposed. He looks worse every time you see him. I thought that was an excellent idea. A ghost, his ghostly friend coming to warn him about turning into a monster during the full moon. I thought that was an awesome idea. Jenny Agutter is always good. You know, she was also in Child's Play and a few other... Child's Play 2, sorry, and a few others. Great movie, great characters, great comedy, great scares as well. The Howling's a really different movie because American Werewolf in London feels more like a modern retelling of The Wolfman, where the characters getting tongue-tied. The main character is afflicted with lycanthropy and is battling, you know, he's fighting it. But with The Howling, the werewolves, most of them enjoy being werewolves. They like hunting down their victims at night, turn to werewolves. They can also turn to and transform at will. They don't have to wait for full moon. So the movies are very different. The only thing they really have in common is the amazing effects and the fact that they involve werewolves, of course. But anyway, let's move on. Yeah, American Werewolf in London, I'd say, is my favorite, with The Howling a very close second. But then again, for years, I said that I prefer The Howling. But it's definitely between those two, and always will be. Question number 2. Are werewolves better than vampires? We had a similar question in the vampire tag, and I think it depends on how you look at it. Now, with werewolves, usually it's more of a curse. It's something you can't control at night. The full moon comes out, you turn into a beast against your will, and you kill people, innocent people, sometimes probably even friends or family members. Now, that's awful. That sounds horrible. However, in some interpretations, like The Howling, for example, you can control it. However, you still crave meat, and you still probably going to end up killing people, even if you have control over your transforming and control over your werewolf form. You're still going to be a beast, you know, essentially. Now, vampires have a lot of things they can do. They have a lot of powers and abilities. I mean, they can shapeshift. They can turn into wolves, too. So really, if you're a vampire and you can turn into a wolf and have total control over being a wolf, then, I mean, I guess that would be better. Because it's like you have everything that a werewolf can do, plus so much more. You know, I mean, vampires are strong. They're just awesome. they're so cool. I don't even think I need to explain why. I think it would kind of suck to have to suck blood all the time, especially if you couldn't eat real food. If I couldn't eat pizza anymore or nachos, that would really suck. But, you know, I will say vampires have way too many weaknesses. It depends on which version, but, you know, I mean, sunlight, a stake through the heart, I mean, that'd kill anybody, you know. They're usually bothered by garlic. They can't see their cells in the mirror, so how the hell would how would you shave or do your hair or anything? That would suck. You know, I always thought that was kind of silly anyway. Sometimes they can't go past running water. There's so many weaknesses. Even some versions, if you throw rice on the ground, they just sit there and count every single grain. Like, man, that would be awful. So I guess it depends on which version. But I'd say overall, vampires are probably better. So the answer to the question is no. I'd say vampires are better. But in some versions, I think werewolves are portrayed a little better. You know, depending on how much control you have over it. A lot of times werewolves are stronger than vampires, and rightfully so, because vampires have almost everything else. But again, it depends on how you look at it, but overall I'd say vampires are better. It'd be hard to not be able to walk around in sunlight, though, I'll tell you that. You know, I love the night, but I gotta go out during the day sometimes. Anyway, question number 3. What is the most brutal scene from a werewolf film? Oh, wow. There's a lot of good ones. I like the one Sean Urshan mentioned from Dog Soldiers, the beheading. That's definitely up there. But I think I'll go with Jack's death at the beginning of American Werewolf in London. It's just a suspenseful scene. I think it's the scariest part of the movie where they're walking in the moors at night. Great setting, great tone. Then they hear the wolf howling, and then they're running. They don't know where it's coming from, and then you think everything's going to be okay. Then the werewolf just jumps on Jack, starts ripping him to shreds, biting his throat out, scratching him up, blood's flying everywhere, while David's just running off, terrified. And I thought that was a pretty brutal scene. Very scary, very well done. There's a lot to choose from, but I'll go with that one overall. Question number 4. What is the best werewolf transformation scene? Again, it's a tie between American Werewolf in London and The Howling. I cannot decide between the two because they're both amazing in different ways. Again, they both look like somebody filmed a werewolf being transforming on camera. It looks totally real. I don't even know how they did some of those effects. They look incredible. I will say The Howling has a better looking werewolf. When the werewolf is in its final form, I think bipedal werewolves are scarier than quadrupedal werewolves. Because for one thing, the quadrupedal ones just look like wolves, slightly scary wolves. A wolf on 2 legs, that's a very scary, very unsettling and disturbing image. And in The Howling, they walk on 2 legs. I think that's a lot scarier. And I think the costumes, the werewolves themselves look a little better in The Howling. In American Werewolf in London, you don't see the werewolf a whole lot. He's on 4 legs, and it kind of just looks like somebody's pushing the puppet along. It's very terrifying looking, don't get me wrong. It's very scary looking. I wouldn't want to see that thing at night for sure. But I think the werewolves look a little better in The Howling. But the transformation effects themselves, both. It's a tie. I cannot decide. I can't pick one or the other. They both look amazing. And it's interesting because in American Werewolf in London, David turning into a werewolf, he's like in pain. And he's trying to fight it. And he's like, oh gosh, this is, he's in so much pain. He's screaming. And it's terrible. And you can really feel his pain. You really see the look on his face, the anguish, the emotion. He's just so grief-stricken. He's turned to a werewolf. That's horrible. He's going to do some horrible things. He feels so much pain. He's just like, so much agony. But in The Howling, Eddie Quist, played by Robert Ricardo, is pretty much the main werewolf in the movie. When he's transforming, he's enjoying the hell out of it. He turns to a werewolf, he's smiling, he's like, oh yeah, I'm turned into a beast, I'm a badass, I'm awesome. He's a serial killer and a werewolf. Sean Urshan put it very well in his video. I love that movie so much. But yeah, like Eddie Quist, he's actually enjoying becoming a werewolf. He's just loving it. He's relishing the idea that he's going to turn into a beast, to be more powerful than any human, go out and kill people. So he's just thoroughly enjoying it. He's getting off on this sick pleasure, turning to the werewolf, whereas David's in a lot of pain. So they're both totally different scenes, but they both look spectacular, breathtaking, and nothing's ever come close. So it's a tie between those two. Okay, question number 5. What is the silliest/worst werewolf film? Well, pretty much take your pick from any of the Howling sequels, but I think we'll go with Howling 3 overall, the marsupials. Now, all the Howling sequels are pretty bad. Some of them were so bad they're good. Some of them were guilty pleasures. Some of them were just awful. But I think I can find some enjoyment, on some level in most of them. Part 4, the original Nightmare, was okay. I think it was Part 6, The Howling 6, The Freaks, that had Bruce Payne in it. He's always good. There's a few things enjoying all of them. I think Howling 3 was the weirdest. That movie was just strange and very silly and just totally weird. But again, I love that kind of stuff. I'm a sucker for bad movies, so I can find some enjoyability in that movie a little bit. I agree with Sean Urshan as well. He said Teen Wolf, and it's definitely a silly movie, but I love it. It's definitely a comedy. It's not a horror film at all. It's a very different type of werewolf movie, and as he said, it's kind of like a modern version of I Was a Teenage Werewolf. But anyway, all right, question number 6. What was your first werewolf film? That would be The Wolfman from 1941 with Lon Chaney Jr., the original black and white Universal film, The Wolfman. Great movie. I kind of started out as a fledgling horror fan. I started out with the old Universal movies, and that was one of the first ones I saw, and I loved it. I think it still holds up today very well. You know, that was probably like it was like one of the first. It kind of wasn't the first werewolf movie. There was like Werewolf in London and a few others before that, but it was one of the first of that type, and it really set the standard. I'd say. I think it's the most influential, most classic, the most iconic, probably. So it's a good one to start with. Okay, question number 7. What is your favorite werewolf legend? I'm not really sure. Does that mean like your favorite story involving a werewolf? Not counting any movies, or I always liked the story of that girl who was raised by wolves and became like a wild animal, but that's not really a werewolf. And Sean Urshan mentioned Three Little Pigs, which that's a very classic story. Everybody knows about that one. It's a good one, but I don't think the pigback wolf was really a werewolf, was he? I mean, he was definitely an anthropomorphized wolf, but I don't think it was technically a man that turned into a wolf in full moon. So I don't know. So yeah, I don't really know. I'll have to get back to you on that because I don't know. I've read different stories about werewolves. Unfortunately, none really come to mind at the moment, other than ones I've seen in movies. There needs to be a little more werewolf movies, by the way. But yeah, werewolf legend. I guess just the werewolf legend in general. That if you get bit by a werewolf, you'll become a werewolf during the full moon, when the wolfbane blooms and all that good stuff. I love that. I love that whole thing. So just the legend in general, just the basic premise of werewolves themselves. I guess that's my favorite legend. You know, I'm sorry, kind of a boring answer, but I'll make up for it by adding my own bonus question. Question number 8. This is one I'm adding. You don't have to answer if you don't want to. I'm just gonna add my own werewolf-related question, and that's gonna be, what is the most underrated werewolf film? And I'm gonna go with Bad Moon. That came out in the 90s, early 90s, I believe. That doesn't get the praise it deserves. Everybody talks about Werewolf in London, The Howling, The Wolfman, Silver Bullet, which is another one of my favorite ones, and rightfully so. All those films are awesome. You know, there's also Dog Soldiers and Ginger Snaps, and it's a lot of great werewolf movies. There needs to be more. There's also movies like Wolfen and The Company of Wolves, which I guess are technically werewolf movies, sort of. And a few others, but I'm going to go with Bad Moon as the most underrated werewolf movie. It's interesting because I think he's a really good-looking werewolf. You know, he looks really cool, and the main character is a dog, so that's pretty cool. It's pretty unique, so do with that what you will, you know? It's kind of like Watchers. The main character's a dog. Pretty cool. Yeah, Bad Moon. Check it out. Check out all these awesome movies. But if you haven't seen American Werewolf in London and The Howling, definitely make those your top priority, because those are the very best. Best werewolf movies ever made, period. Nothing has or ever will come anywhere close to them. They're pretty much tied for my favorite. Again, I said American Werewolf in London. I prefer slightly, just by a hair, but really it's a close one. It's always going to be between those two, like I said. But anyway, werewolves are awesome. They need more werewolf movies. Thank you guys for watching. I'm not going to tag anybody, because I think Sean Urshan already tagged everybody that I would tag. But feel free to make a response to this. Check out Kweeny Todd's original video. Check out Sean Urshan's video. Answer the questions in the comments below. Let me know what you think about werewolves, or make your own video. Go ahead and tag yourself if you want to. I'm going to leave the tag open, like I said. And yeah, werewolves are awesome. There needs to be more werewolf movies. Alright guys, I'm Hellhound. Thank you for watching. Until next time.